Hello, everybody. In this video, I want to share a little bit more about the strategy that I've used. It's a very simple strategy using supply and demand in conjunction with a couple more indicators, and you'll see that. And I wanted to walk you through this. As usual, trading is risky. Make sure you have a set of rules, you follow those rules, make sure you have a sound risk management, and you test the strategy before you play with real money. One of the things I found out is that sometimes with the strategies do not work, and we start doubting what is going on there, start changing rules midway through, and that invariably leads to problems as we go along. So what I would suggest here is that we really stick to the rules and follow your game plan, and you'll find that you are going to be more profitable as you go along. Today, I am going to share a stock that I've traded. The day here is August 17th, a couple of days back. Wells Fargo is the company. A little bit about the company itself. And in the past, I used to do swing trading, and so I used to choose companies that had good fundamentals. So for this one, I chose this company because it had over $1 million of shares that were traded every day. It had an ATR of over 1. It had low price per earnings, which means that you typically have a target price that is higher than what its current price is. So it's undervalued, and you have institutional buying as well as it's under $50. These are some of the things that I had done. I want to quickly talk to you about the indicators. I use TradingView as the main indicator. And so let's quickly talk about it. There is a paid version and a free version. I started off with the free version, and now I'm at the paid. I'll tell you why it has so many benefits, and it's well worth the investment. First one is VWAP, volume weighted average price. It's something that gives you a little bit of an indication relative to the total price. EMA cross, I use the 9 and 20, green being the 9 EMA, purple being the 20, and the cross will be a bit of an indication. Main one that I use is the SR channel, which is the support resistance channel. Another name for that is the demand and supply. Green being the demand, where the stock price will go up, supply being excess of stock, and so it'll sell off. And that's really what it is. I'm going to clear this off. And I also want to say I've got a couple of lines that you can see. The yellow line is the previous day's high and previous day's low, and a couple of dashed purple lines that speaks to pre-market high and pre-market low, and some of the key support level resistance. With that, let's go and do a bit of a replay. One of the key features we have in TradingView is that you can go back and play it with a different speed that you want. In this case, I'm just choosing a 1x speed, and then it gives you a bit of an understanding of where it is. I trade out of the Mountain Standard Time, so our starting time is 7:30. So let's run this a bit to see where we are heading out, and let's get started. Okay, so that is the first candle. It's a green candle, went all the way up and right to the top of where pre-market high was at 42.68. So it went above the 9 and the 20 and VWAP, and so it's something that we're going to watch. I don't usually play the first 10 or 15 minutes, but there are times that you do that. Again, this is a 5-minute chart. I usually play either on the 2-minute or the 5-minute chart. I have found that playing on the 1-minute chart is a bit stressful for me because sometimes there's false indications there, and I find it hard to keep on to holding trades there. And so here, the second one, you can see that is a red candle. Not a lot of changes there to what I was thinking. Let's go to the third one. Now, I can see a downward trend. I can see that the candle has moved below the 9 and the 20 and the VWAP. And so this is probably a good time for me to take a trade. Watching very closely, it'll be a short position I'll take. And so slightly above the high of the previous candle is where I will have my stop loss and the start of the green one. So this is exactly 1-to-1 ratio, but I'm going to just check what happens here. Now, let's quickly play this. This is very much in our favor so far. What this is telling me is there is a bit of a red inverted green candle. There's a bit of a tug of war between the buyers and sellers. buyer seem to be taking it over, and so I'm watching this very carefully. This one is an indecision bar, so I'm not doing anything here, and I'm still watching it very carefully. Now at this point, I feel like this is actually going to move backwards. It pulled back, had a bit of a indecision candle, and it's going to keep going up, and it's about where it's going to come. So that's where I put that dashed lines. This point, I will close off my position because I don't think it'll be well worth the while to go back. But it'll be, because it's the lines are converging, the 9 and 20, this would be a great place for us to enter long. And so this is exactly how I generally look at it. The advantage here is that your stop loss is pretty small and your take profit will be, in this case, I would go all the way up to here because that's where the candle closed, this 42.56. And so that's where my target will be. And so we'll see what happens here. Instantly we reached our target. In fact, it went even further high. And so this would be a successful trade as we see. At this point, I'm not sure where it's going. We want to see whether it breaks this line and keeps going up to the top, or it goes and hits it and starts coming down. So we'll watch what's going on for the next couple of ticks here. And so it's trying to test the top EMA a couple of times. And what I'm noticing is that it tested a couple of times and it's now trending down. So what I see is there's a bit of a trend going on here. I'm going to just draw this trend line to see if there is any real thing that we are seeing here. I mean, it may or it may not be, but I usually, when I spot a trend, I start looking at it. That could have been on this point as well. It likely will break it. I'm not sure if it'll go further, but we are not going to trade. It's too close for me to take this. Okay, so at this point, I feel this is a great pivot point here. It went and tested the 42.73 previous day's high, couldn't get past it, and starting to go on a downward trend. It's gone past the 9 and the 20 and the VWAP. It's broken the trend line. It's between these two zones, and so this is a great place for us to enter into a short position. So I'd probably go short here with my stop loss slightly above that here, and my take profit will be, typically it'll come all the way here, but I'm going to go all, because it went in pre-market high up to this point, we'll go all the way up there and see what happens. So let's play a couple of times. We find that it's in the green, it's going well, and there our target is reached. We had a profitable target here, and I think you can see how the support channels and the resistance channels are really useful. Interesting feature, this was green in color, now it's become gray because we are not sure whether it's going to go further down or it's going to take off here, and that's why it's saying don't act right now. Once it turns green, we'll act on it, or once it turns red, we'll probably go short on it, but it gives you a bit of an indication. So this is a good one. It went up here, so there was a reversal that happened. This became green. It's gotten higher than the previous high, so we have higher highs. Neat place for us to go into a long position with the understanding that our stop loss will be slightly at the below the low of the swing candle here, and the take profit is up here, which is about 1 to 1.7. So really good reward to risk ratio. And so let's see whether we are having any success here. So it's hovering around the 9 and 20, and we are probably getting closer to our green target, and we'll see whether it hits there. It hit our target. So interesting space here. It hit our target. So this was the second trade that was successful. Now, what would likely happen? It'll either do a test here and keep going up, or it will go and hit the top and start coming down. So this is a nice channel that you can play between the two. In this case, I am not clear whether there's a good confirmation for me to take any further, so I'm not going to take, but I'm watching the downtrend here, and I'm thinking this is probably a good place to look at it. And so now it really took it further down, so I think we could have taken a trade here. I want to make sure that the confirmation is sure. Now it became again a green candle, so I want to make sure that we have got this is a good candle. It's clearly telling me that's in the downward trend. Again, anything can happen, but it's we need to have a plan as to where we are entering, where we are exiting, and this will be, once again, I'm going to go all the way down because it's 1 to 1.55, because we found that the low here is at 4.27, and so we can go all the way down and see whether it comes close. I come about 5 to 10 cents shy of my target, and then I probably stop if it's not doing its thing here. So let's see whether it's actually able to give us the target. It's watching this sometimes is hard, but at the same time you can see that it is there. So it reached our target right here. It touched our target. So once again, we came in around here and we went all the way down. This was our third profitable trade that we saw. We have to wait to see whether the confirmation is red or green. And as you can see, it really is following the pattern here. Okay, that was an excellent green candle. You can also see the volume bar is pretty high here. And so this tells me that this is going to go further up. It's coming down. And so I'm going to take my trade here with a stop loss right at this point, at the bottom of this channel, going all the way up to this top here, because I found that this particular candle closed right on top. So with that in mind, let's see whether this achieves a target, and maybe we will be able to get our target, maybe not. So there. So it actually reached our target once again. So this was an excellent day, and we are at almost the close of the day. It's 1:50, 2 o'clock is the time when it closes here, and so I would not be taking any more trades. And then and it's gone into aftermarkets. So as you can see, this was an excellent play of these entries and exits. We took a short position here, we took a long position here, we waited for a while, took another short position here, took another long position here. Very successful trade, and this was like a break-even trade. So just working on the support and resistance channel and supply and demand channels, along with a few trend lines and confirmation from moving average, we were able to get some successful trades. I'm not going to focus on the percentage what I made on that, or whether it was options or stocks, but we have an opportunity to do that. Sometimes I use trading panel right here and then go into Interactive Brokers. That's what I use. Other times I go into Interactive Brokers directly, look at the chart, and then go ahead and place my trades based on that. So again, this is very, very neat strategy, making sure that you follow through with it, have a set of rules. My general rule is, if I pick a strategy, I try and back test it about 30 times in paper trading before I go into the real world, because it really allows me to tell me what the risk to reward ratio is, what's the win ratio, what are the other things we can do. And so that's some of the key things that I want to say. Now, the one feature I want to share with you is this is a single screen. If I click Alt and the left key, it actually brings another screen. And so what this allows me to do is, on this side I've got a 5-minute Heikin Ashi chart, whereas on this side I've got the regular chart on which I'm trading. So it gives me a little bit more clarity on the trending as it goes along, and this will give me, and they both are at the same time. So if I change this to another time frame, like 15 minutes, you will see that that happens as well. So you've got that as well. So basically, this is a good way of doing it. Another one that I wanted to share with you is a 3-screen window. Basically, if I am trading Meta as a stock, I'm also watching what's happening to SPS and QQQ, and this gives me a great indication. This is on a 3-minute. I can change it to 1 minute, and you have a way to reset all of them and play around with it. So this is a neat feature once again. And so because of these reasons, I go for the paid version, because it really allows me to look at it. Try not clutter my charts too much, but the supply and demand zone, even in the 1 minute, plays quite well. As you can see, this is today's one. This was a demand zone. It went up and dropped and went up and dropped, and so you can really play this properly with the proper risk management. And I use Super Trend as well from time to time to get an indication. Again, in the free version, you get about 3 of them. In the paid version, you can get up to 10. And so that's the one I've used for the pro version. So hopefully this was useful. If you have any questions, please let me know, or put your comments down below. What do you think about this particular strategy, whether you've attempted to do something like this. If there's anything more you want, maybe I can do one on options and similar strategy that I have used. I can share that, but let me know how this goes. Happy trading.